Hello, and welcome to Ending Physician Overwhelm. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Mello. I'm a family and obesity medicine physician, as well as a certified life coach for physicians. In this podcast, we talk about how the learned habits of people-pleasing, perfectionism, and a lack of boundaries show up in our lives and how they contribute to burnout, exhaustion, and overwhelm. The healthcare system is broken, my friends, but let's not wait for it to be fixed in order to feel better. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to a special guest episode of the show. Today, I am so excited to welcome back my friend, Dr. Lara Hochman of Happy Day Health, and she is here to share a part of her recent work, which is becoming an author, a published author, available on Amazon. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do, welcome back to the show, and please reintroduce yourself to the audience. You were last on about 7 months ago, almost to the day, and we'd love to sort of reintroduce you and get a little bit of your story.
Yay, hello. Sure, so I'm Lara Hochman. I'm the medical matchmaker. So I help doctors find practices that really more closely align with our value systems as physician, where we can practice with autonomy and really just enjoy practicing medicine again. So that's what I do. And since we last spoke, I added on what I realized is that a lot of physicians really need some coaching through the interview process. So I do help with that as well. So I've added that on as a service where I will help doctors with the resume and how to interview well in a way that really gets what we need out of the interview, and to make sure that the practice is what we're looking for. And then, of course, a little bit through contract negotiations as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's so helpful. Just because so many of us never really got any training about how to look for a job, what to think about, what to ask about. I know you have a number of excellent videos on YouTube. So we can find you at Happy Day Health. And I strongly encourage people to go and check some of those out if you are even thinking in your mind, well, maybe someday I might want a new job. It's so helpful to have those resources, and you talk about all the things, which is so critical. But so today we're going to be talking about this book that you are a co-author on, and it is a book compiled by our mutual business coach, Dr. Una. And it is a collection of stories of physician entrepreneurs sharing their experiences in learning how to become business owners of all different stripes. And I'd love to hear a little bit about your chapter and sort of what was going through your mind when you heard, hey, you have an opportunity to be an author.
So, in the business group, Dr. Una will sometimes throw things out there and, everyone will get excited. And so she threw it out into the group. Hey, who's ever wanted to be an author? And my first thought was, oh no. So my biggest fear, more than flying, more than public speaking, more than death, the biggest fear that I have ever had is writing. And it has been in the past so severe. Even writing birthday cards or emails was something that I couldn't do. So everyone else
that's a real challenge.
I've come a long way since then. So that was not exciting, but I figured, hey, you know what? I'm here to grow as a person, and so I very begrudgingly said, yes, I'll do it. Okay, fine. And I knew this was going to be a struggle for me. This was facing my biggest fear head on. And it's really, when I think about it, it's such a silly fear. Like, who's afraid of writing? I can get up on stage and speak to 1,000 people, no problem. But to write what I'm going to speak, that's the part that just... Oh man. So anyway, Dr. Una always says, say yes. So I said yes. I knew it was going to be a struggle, but I did it. And
And it's an actual physical book that is actually available today. Uh, and it's a #1 bestseller on Amazon already. So
Yep.
that book is called Made for More. So I'll say that again later, but we do encourage you, of course, to go out and get a copy. Um, and tell us a little bit about what ended up going into your chapter. So this was an opportunity for you to kind of share your experience. And how did you decide what you were going to write about once you accepted that fear? Maybe didn't get over it, but accepted the fear and the challenge of contributing to the book.
When I thought about what I wanted to write, that part was easy. It was very simple. I wanted to show physicians that um, help is on the way. In medicine, I think most of us at some point, and probably even right now, have lost hope for the future of medicine. Medicine has turned into this beast that has a life of its own and just isn't fun anymore and isn't satisfying and fulfilling like it used to be. And having at the point that I had written that book, I had already seen so many people doing so many amazing things. And I was hoping to convey that in the book, not just about what I was doing, but that I was one of, and still am, I'm one of many people who are really working hard to try to change medicine.
Mhm.
And I wanted to show them, you can do something too. And it doesn't have to be something gigantic. I mean, I spend residency hours working on this, but you don't have to. So we had a very limited amount of space that we could write, which is fine because I don't want to write too much, nor can I. But in that short amount of time, I was really hoping to show physicians that help is on the way and to give them the hope that I had found in meeting all these amazing people that I had met.
Yeah. But I think there's a few points I want to highlight there that are so important. One is that the fear is there and it's very real to do what seems like a very simple task, right? To write a certain number of words and into coherent sentences, which you do all day, as a physician anyway, or mostly coherent sentences in our notes. This might seem like a very simple task. You were quite afraid to do that, which many people are afraid to put themselves out there, whether it's public speaking or writing. But even though you had that fear, you were willing to move forward anyway, right? I'm assuming that you didn't actually get rid of that fear. The fear was there with you, but you decided to take a step forward anyway. Um, can you speak a little bit about that and what that experience was like?
Yeah, so that's something that I've been working on for quite a few years already. It started with just flying. I had, there was one time I was flying and took a little nap on the plane, which is great. And then when I woke up and looked out the window, I saw lightning and thunder.
Mm.
Well, I guess you don't see thunder. I saw lightning. And then we hit some turbulence and totally freaked out. And so since then I had this gigantic fear of flying. And so I had already been working through that, and every airplane ride I had thought, "Oh my gosh, I wish I had taken something," but I never did. Which, speaking of fears, because I also have a fear of taking medications. So, but at the end of each flight, I was like, "Wow, I got through it," and so that's kind of when I decided I'm going to start putting myself out there to do things that are purposely facing my fear.
Mhm.
And so, it's actually something I've been working on, and I know that it's something that feels so rewarding once it's done.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it's a working through, right? Because it's acknowledging that the fear is there, it's being willing to feel it,
mhm,
and telling yourself afterwards, see, we made it. Like the
exactly,
plane
exactly,
landed, the chapter is written, the speech is given, everything's okay, calm down, brain.
exactly. And so, yeah, so I don't have a fear of fear. I'm
Mhm.
very happy putting myself in positions that I know I'm going to regret while I'm doing it. but but I know that it's always better in the end, and I think that's what writing this chapter did for me. And so, even though I wholeheartedly despised the idea of writing something, there wasn't really a doubt that I should do it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it was holy moly, that was really lots of drama going on inside of my brain during that chapter writing session. But I did it, and I'm glad I did. And I, the book was published today as of this recording. And I read my chapter, and I wrote it 18 months ago. So I forgot the details, and I forgot the words that I wrote and the sentences I wrote. I knew what I wrote, but I couldn't remember the details. And I was so pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, I wrote that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. Well, and there, yes, there's certainly that element of, self-judgment that often creeps in. And, as you and I have gotten to know each other better, I know that one of the things that we have in common is struggling with procrastination, right? And that's common to physicians. It's common to, people trying to set up new businesses, kind of all of the things. And I imagine that procrastination came up for you when you were writing this chapter. And so I'm wondering kind of what that experience was like and what you did to push through. I talk a lot about, perfectionism, and I see procrastination as often, kind of an avoidance of finishing something because we need it to be perfect. We need it to be just so, right? We don't have all the information. But tell us a little bit about procrastination in this chapter.
All right. So at the beginning, I was super motivated, and motivation is not something that can last forever. So I sat down, I wrote my words, and I was super excited, and I mean, beyond excited, because I just sat down and wrote something, and then came back to it the next day, and I was dismally disappointed when I read it. And I think that's kind of when I was just like, oh gosh, here we go again. And I rewrote it so many times. This is reminiscent of writing my entrance essays for residency in med school and college. But I rewrote it so many times, and I was never happy with it. There's definitely that perfectionism that comes in. And when the first deadline came in to submit the first draft, there were tears galore. I mean, I was beside myself because the finished product was pretty horrendous. And then the answer at that point was, hey, don't worry about it, you can always rewrite it. So like, okay, fine. So so first draft I submitted. I believe I rewrote the entire thing many times, but there was a lot going on in my head. I think I submitted it maybe an hour before the deadline, and
Mhm.
we had a long time to write it. It wasn't just like, hey, write a chapter and submit it in a week. I had all this time, and that perfectionism just kept stopping me from being happy with what I was doing, when I actually was very happy with the message,
Mhm.
but and the content, but I was not happy with the words as they were written. So yes, procrastination was definitely an issue on this, because it's perfect. It had to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is so funny because what's so important, right, in a story like this is not the beauty of the words, right? The most brilliantly constructed sentences, right? It's the idea. It's it's what you want to communicate to the other people who will pick up this book and find themselves in your story, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, we so often get stuck in there. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. Um, Tell us what you think about, someone who's listening to us talk right now, and why should they go out and buy the book?
The book is really amazing. I may have not written about my fear of writing or overcoming my fears, but I know that a lot of physicians that wrote chapters did.
Mm,
And as physicians, we are such perfectionists, and we feel that we have no transferable skills. All we know how to do is be a physician. And I think so many physicians have lost hope for medicine, have
mhm,
lost hope for, what they can do and their own future. And so many physicians feel trapped. And I really feel like reading the stories in this book It shows you that you're not alone. You feel the same way as many other physicians right now. And I think it shows you what's possible because,
Mhm.
I was flipping through the book earlier. My 8-year-old is home today with, she's not feeling well. So we're sitting and flipping through the book and she's asking me, which one of these are your best friends? And so, at chapter 1, oh, I love that one. Chapter 2, oh, I love this physician too. Chapter 3. And I just, it's really cool. And seeing all these people, not only do I know and love these people so much, they're just regular people like you and me, and they're imperfect in the most beautiful way. And, seeing them and reading their chapters and mine also, like knowing how I feel about myself and what I was able to put down on paper, and knowing that they feel imperfect. And I know their struggles because I know them as human
Yeah.
beings. It's really cool to read that. And I really think that um, everyone can benefit from reading the book because these are regular people. These are people who also thought at one point, I'm just a doctor.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
all thought that at some point,
Just a
including
doctor. It's
me.
all I know how to do. If I can't
Exactly.
be a
And
doctor, I'll be homeless.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, when I think back just a few years ago before I started my business, if you had told me what I was doing today, there is no way I would have believed it because I was just a doctor. I can't do anything else. Um, and it's really cool to just think back to who I was and who I am today. And I know the other people in this that are in the book are the same, just
Yeah.
amazing people who are normal
Yeah.
people, normal physicians.
Yeah. Well, and I have not yet read the book, but I'm going to imagine, that in reading these stories and just knowing sort of the interconnectedness of all the authors who contributed to this book, you can sense the importance in people's stories of community, right? We have a particular community that we are a part of, and it's amazing. And yet there are other many important communities available, and the importance of that for us as people. We can get very siloed and think, okay, I've got to be the professional, I'm the physician in the room, I've got to be the leader in this way. And so many of us really struggle with loneliness and feeling like no one thinks the same thoughts or thinking no one struggles with the same things. And so I'm really looking forward to it because I imagine that theme is highlighted. And I don't know if you can share, kind of your quick take on the book and your thoughts about community and the value of that.
Yeah, I think that a large portion of, or a large, the majority of issues that we have as a society could be healed by community. A
Mhm.
lot of what we do and a lot of why we do it is because of loneliness or feeling like you don't belong. And I would say that this contributes not just to what's going on in medicine, but just in the world today.
Yeah.
So, and I could probably speak about that for hours and hours and hours. So more than what we can cover today. But yeah, I
We'll
mean, I
spare
think
you, dear listener, from
I'll spare you from my rambling thoughts that I cannot put down on paper. So, but yeah, I think that it's so huge. And this is the community that has given me hope for the future of medicine. And I'm so excited for people to read it. And I haven't finished reading all the stories either. So I'm excited to finish reading them
yeah.
too. They're just so cool.
Oh, that's awesome. So for anyone who's out there listening, again, the book is called Made for More. And it is written by how many physicians?
There are 47 physicians.
47 physicians, largely women physicians, who have contributed to the making of this book, who have put, some blood, sweat, and tears into sharing their stories for the sole purpose of really creating dialogue about how we are more than just our titles. We are more than just our professions, and we have opportunities to really embrace more parts of ourselves, whether or not we continue to practice medicine. I'm so excited to read it. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about the book. If people are interested in finding out more about you and the work that you're doing, where can my listeners find you?
Oh, yeah. So my website is www.happydayhealth.co. I'm
It's
on
not
YouTube,
.com,
not
.co.
.com. Um, my YouTube channel is Happy Day Health by Lara Hochman, MD. So please go check it out. I'm always adding to it. And if you have anything you want me to cover, just let me know. I'm happy to make a video about that too. I'm on Instagram as Happy Day MD, I believe, Twitter, Happy Day MD 1, and TikTok. I don't even know what I'm on TikTok. Happy Day MD, maybe. And of course, I live, eat, breathe on LinkedIn. So I'm just there as Lara Hochman, MD.
Yes. And it's just, I'll speak to it. You have such a lovely combination of really informative videos and a few really creative, funny ones. And so it's just, it's a real delight to watch you and to continue to watch your business evolve. And I'm so glad that you came to join me and, share your updates. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for the work you do. It's really great.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone, that's what we have for you today. Thank you for joining. Again, if you are interested in learning more about the book, it's called Made for More, and it's available as of today, which is January 17th. So go check it out at your favorite bookstore, probably online, but whatever that works out for you. Okay, you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you as always for listening. To learn more about my coaching programs, head to www.healthierforgood.com. And if you love this podcast, please drop us a review on iTunes or support the show by clicking the link in the show notes. Until next time, take care.